What's up guys, Johnny Chase here, and it is time for another Q&A video. Now I'm doing something a little different this time. I'm going to actually have video game footage as opposed to me just reading the questions off on webcam, and I'm also going to pop them up taken directly from my YouTube account. So if you have a question that you want to ask for the next video, leave it down in the comments below and we'll get to it. But right now we'll go for the questions that were left on the last week's video. So first off, our old friend Adam Busker comes in. First he says, you pronounced my name right last time, so don't worry about it. Number one, are there any games that you're hoping get announced at E3 besides new IPSs? Or new IPs, I guess. I'm actually hoping that the rumored Halo Master Chief Collection for the Xbox One gets announced. If you guys don't know, the rumor going around is that Microsoft and 343 are thinking of putting HD remasters of Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo 4, like basically the numbered in the series, on one compilation with enhanced graphics. And the only thing I really want is just Halo 2. I want another Halo 2 because a few weeks ago, the guys over at Screwattack were doing a live stream and decided to play Halo 2 in a land, and my god, I just had so much memories. Basically, Halo 2 was the game that got me to buy an original Xbox back in the day, because we played that on Xbox Live so much, and it was so much fun. And I haven't had an experience like that in quite a while. I mean, they kind of dropped off on Halo 3, and I really don't like the aesthetic of Halo 4. Too different, but if they could make Halo 2 multiplayer again, I would buy it in a heartbeat. That's what I'm hoping for now, and I'm hoping that since Nintendo won't have a direct presence, they're just going to do a Nintendo Direct the weekend of E3. I'm hoping that they announce something that's going to get people to buy Wii U's, because Nintendo's in a lot of trouble right now with their console. I'm really hoping that that some new games get announced, non-first party. And this kind of leads into Adam's second question. What advice would you give Nintendo in order for them to get more third-party support for the Wii U? My only real advice, I think they've got a pretty good machine. It's just, I think it's all up to developers. I mean, the publishers and developers, I think all they're looking for is just how many polygons can we push, how much texture quality can we push, how pretty can we make this look, but have to do minimalist work. I mean, you don't need to have the prettiest game in the world. As long as it's a good, fun, engaging experience, it should be fine. It would be nice if Notch would put Minecraft on the Wii U. I mean, the tablet is just screaming for that type of gameplay experience where you can craft everything on the tablet. You can bring up your menus and things like that. You can check your inventory and things like that on there. I mean, the gamepad and the touchscreen have so many different possibilities, but for some reason, other than Nintendo, no one else is willing to pull the trigger on it. I mean, Watch Dogs will have third-party support for tablets as far as map and use it as a second controller, pretty much. But that's the thing. I really hope that Nintendo pulls something out of E3 and says, "Hey, we're here. I mean, we know we're not super duper graphics, but really, can you tell the difference between an Xbox One and a 360 release? Not at this point. In a few years, definitely, but not right now." Next up is from X Sinner. It says, what kind of things do you enjoy doing when you're not playing video games? Well, just basically, I like to chill out and read comics. I've been getting a lot of trade paperbacks, and I'm actually getting caught up on the ones that I had bought and just kind of put on the shelves as collector's sake. I really enjoy getting trade paperbacks of complete stories. I'm not the type of guy that will get a single issue unless it's a one-off. I don't like the fact of having all these single issues and then finish one, go to the next. I like everything contained into one single trade paperback, so I could just sit at my leisure and read it all the way from beginning to end. Now that the weather's getting better and my fiance Melanie and I have some time off together, we're just going to try and get a little bit more active. Maybe, go ride bikes and play some basketball and some football. Because if you've seen any of my pickup videos and my reviews for Total Divas on the E! Network, I found an XFL ball. If you guys don't know, XFL was the football league that Vince McMahon started in 2001 as a placeholder until when the NFL was done. And it was a complete failure because everyone turned off to it because they thought it was just another wrestling product. But I thought it was pretty interesting, and I found a football of that not too long ago at a thrift store, so I bought it just for nostalgic sake. Coming up, actually more of a comment. This is from Todd Crush. He said, I actually like Sucker Punch, so you haven't seen Watchmen? That's another Zack Snyder movie along with Man of Steel, which I didn't like. No, I haven't seen Watchmen. I'm not really familiar with the Watchmen universe, but it's something that I would actually like to take a look to because apparently it's a comic book movie that doesn't take itself too comically. It takes itself a little bit more seriously, so that might be interesting. But yeah, I never really like super interest. Like, oh my god, I have to go see this movie. Just never wasn't any interest. That's why Zack Snyder. When people ask me what are your thoughts of him directing Justice League, I'm like, I think it's fine. I don't know any of his other movies other than 300. That's the only one I've personally seen. Anyways, moving on. Ojonix has 6 questions. We'll try to get these through. Mostly, these are Tokusatsu questions. He writes, number 1, what brought you to Super Sentai / Kamen Rider Toku shows in general? Several different factors. Mainly finding clips of YouTube of the original Sentai. Mainly the fight between Geki and Burai from Zyuranger, which is the fight between Tommy and Jason in Mighty Morphin, and just watching them fight non-transformed, like just the way they moved and just the fluidity of their fight scenes. It was just I had to watch these series. And also from several contributors on their sites, Policy Hack, when he was with Channel Awesome and Reviewtopia, was doing his Reviewerverse series, and he was talking about Kamen Rider. And then when the late great Jew Wario was doing his Family Kamen Rider, and then talking about other Toku stuff, I was like, okay, I gotta get into this. And also friends too. They were big Power Ranger fans, and they wanted to watch Sentai as well. So that's how we got into it. Number 2, who have been your favorite Sentai / Ranger team and individual? Be it in the same team or a different altogether. We're currently watching Gokaiger right now, which is the Super Mega Force adaptation in America. We really like that team, mainly because they're super serious. They're pirates, and they're 6 guys like a human who's just like an over obsessed Super Sentai fan. But I have to say, my favorite team is the Die Ranger, which is the Zord and monster footage for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 2 as soon as they ran out of the Zero Ranger 2 footage. That team, that series is one of my all-time favorites because it was more serious. There was like a third enemy that the guy was fighting with. Basically, like there's a few episodes where they didn't even bother fighting monsters, and it was just like straight up like martial arts fights. And I really, really like that. And everyone had like their own distinct personalities, and they had all their own backstories and things that they were dealing with throughout the series. So that one was my favorite. That's my favorite team. Number 3, favorite Kamen Rider and Second Rider. Don't really have a favorite Second Rider. I don't really have a particular favorite Kamen Rider. I'm more into Super Sentai, like the teams, than opposed to the Kamen Rider. I like Kamen Rider fine. It's just I haven't gotten enough time to like sit down. Decay is really up there because I've got that Decay driver. I like the fact that he has the cards and he can actually change into the previous writers from the last like 7 or 8 years. Number 4, who have been your favorite villain / villainess in Toku shows, both Sentai and Rider? Again, not too familiar with the villains of the Rider series. The one I've only watched through was the All Riders versus Dayshocker, so if I had to say favorite, I would say Dayshocker. For Toku shows, I really like the Goma clan. All 3 of them. It was just like they had a distinct look. They were all in that little like leather thing, and they were like the most powerful. Die Ranger so far is like my favorite Sentai series. I'm trying to catch up on the other ones, but so far Die Ranger like hands down one of my favorites. Next to Zyuranger. Gokaiger's getting up there. We're almost done it, and it's pretty fantastic. Number 5. What are your thoughts, hopes for the news of the Power Rangers reboot movie franchise being done by both Saban and Lionsgate Studios? If it is a reboot, I hope it's a reboot just straight up. Like, okay, we'll use the names. Like, we'll use Zordon, we'll use Jason, Trini, Zach, Kimberly, Billy, Bulk and Skull, and Rita and all them, but we're just gonna start over, cause like, and you can probably hear the train going in the background. Basically, what it is I really hope they just do a straight up reboot. Like, Rita shows up, starts wreaking havoc. Zordon takes the 5 teenagers with attitude and fights off their monsters. Now the thing is that the first episode was contained in like a 20-minute span, and it just kind of went from there. With movies, it's a little bit harder. If they do like a 2-hour and 15-minute long movie, I would be alright with that, as long as it has some type of definitive end. Like, instead of beating the monster of the week, they beat the monster of the movie and then defeat Rita. Imprison her, send her back off to space, something like that. I think to have a definitive end, unless they bank on the fact that this is going to get us a lot of money and we can afford to make a sequel. I wouldn't tread too closely into sequel territory unless you know it's a surefire thing, and they don't. That's the thing. Like, everyone's hyped for the news, but who knows if that's actually going to translate into dollars. And finally, favorite mech / Zords. Hands down, the original Megazord and the Dragon Zord. I mean, that's just what we grew up on. The Dragon Zord is like a top, like very, very number one, because it was Tommy's. He could control it with a flute. He had missiles that shot out of his fingers. He had a drill, and he could combine with 3 other Zords to make the Mega Dragon Zord. So I would say Dragon Zord number 1, Megazord combined together is number 2. So that's all the time I have for this episode. If you guys like these Q&A videos, be sure to leave a comment down below. And also give it a thumbs up. And if you have a question that you want me to answer next week, leave a question in the comments down below. I will get to that and I will answer it. And let me know which format you like better. Would you like me to be on camera while I answer these questions, or do you want it overlaced with gameplay footage? Let me know down below, and we'll go from there. So until next week for another Q&A, I am Johnny Chase, and I'll see you next time.